Addiction takes over your life. Addiction is scary. Addiction is real. Cross addiction is sadly very, very common in the weight loss surgery world. Hey y'all, Erica with TimetoShrink. My name is Erica, and every week I come at you with a weight loss surgery chat. I like to chat about things that I've gotten a lot of questions about. I like to go deep and personal and real. And today we're going to talk about something that can be a little bit of a touchy subject, that can be a little bit taboo, that people don't necessarily want to talk about, but is a real problem after weight loss surgery. Can be, not is, can be. Can y'all guess what I'm talking about? Cross addiction. I want to talk about addiction today, y'all. Let's face it. The majority of us who have been morbidly obese to the point that we needed to have a reconstructive surgery to help us have a tool to manage our weight, to manage our health journey, to help us along our health journey. Most of us have some sort of food addiction at some level. We didn't get that large by not eating. We didn't get that large by not using food to stuff emotions. Some of us just used food to stuff emotions, and maybe we're not addicted to food. Maybe you just used food as a weapon because you didn't like yourself and you used it as a weapon, or you used it to shove down feelings and just emotional stuff. But most of us, I venture to say, most of us have food addiction at some level. Binge eating issues, something, right? So what happens when all of a sudden your comfort blanket, that is food, what you do, what you use to comfort yourself when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling angry, when you're feeling happy, when you don't have the option to binge on major amounts of food, what happens? Some of us can get extremely depressed. That's something that can happen. And we're going to talk about depression in another video. But some of us get something called cross addiction. What is cross addiction? It's when you replace one addiction with another. So say we were addicted to food, and all of a sudden our tummies are so small, and we, especially in those first few months, can have so very little, and none of it is satisfying because it's 2 ounces or less, and it's not satisfying. And we don't know what to do, and we get really, really like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Internally we're going insane. And instead of going and treating that with therapy or working super hard on identifying the reasons for that, we grab for alcohol, or we grab that credit card, or we grab that man or woman, or we start smoking or vaping, or we grab drugs. They're all the same. They are all an addiction. They're all something that we are using to replace something that we don't want to deal with, right? Food addiction comes because we are not dealing with something internally that we need to deal with. So we replace that food with one of those other things. It's very common for people to start drinking and had never had a problem with alcohol before, and then they start drinking when they're sad or even when they're happy, and then they realize they're drinking more and more, and they're drinking when people aren't around, they're hiding alcohol, they're drinking in excess, they're partying like crazy and just drinking because liquids do go down. We can drink and drink, liquids will go down. And then it becomes a problem before you even know it. You're an alcoholic. That is a real risk. It is a real risk. It's something you need to be cognizant of. And then some people start pulling those credit cards out and online shopping like crazy, or going to stores like crazy, buying things that they cannot afford, but it makes them feel better in the moment. They're using that to stuff those feelings, to not deal with those feelings. It's so easy to do, y'all. It's so easy. I am not condemning anyone in this video. I am just wanting to bring up the possibilities. So if you haven't had your surgery or you're newly out, maybe you'll catch it early. Maybe you'll realize you're doing one of these things and catch it early. If you're having any of these issues, I highly, highly, highly recommend finding a therapist, getting help. If it's alcohol, go see your doctor. Start a real conversation with your therapist or your primary care doctor. Be real, be open, be honest. Say you need help and let them help you get the help. If it's money, those credit cards, again, realize it and rein it in. If you can't, because with addiction, oftentimes we cannot do it ourselves. We just can't. We need help. And it is not a bad thing to need help. There's nothing wrong with you if you need to reach out. Get into therapy. Get somebody to help walk with you through it. Another one, it really can be sex. It could be a sex addiction. If you're married or if you're not, using sex every single time that you have that feeling that you need to push and it overcoming your life, it becoming the only thing you think about. Maybe you start having affairs. Maybe you start partying hard out at bars and going home with somebody every night because you're pushing down something. You've cross-addicted into that. Again, addiction is so real, y'all, and we almost always need external help if we're truly addicted. We often need external help if we have food addiction issues. We need somebody to help us walk through it. We've got to fix what's happening in here. Our health journey starts internally. I cannot stress that enough. A surgery is not going to fix you, ever. It's not going to fix everything. It's not going to make your problems go away. Our problems are still going to be there, and we've got to learn how to deal with them. We've got to look deep inside. We've got to change our internal dialogue. We've got to reach out for help if we need help. Because if we don't change internally, the external change is not going to happen in the long term. What other addictions? There's obviously drugs. Could be marijuana. Could be harder things. Could be cigarettes. Could be vaping. Y'all, I forgot to mention exercise addiction. Exercise is another cross addiction. Some people can get to the point with exercise where they're exercising 4, 5, 6 hours a day, just nonstop exercising, and that can be very, very unhealthy as well. We think, oh, it's exercise. Exercise is healthy. Exercise can be healthy, but it also can lead to an addiction where you become obsessed with it and it's all you can think about it and it's all you can do, and you're doing more than is healthy, and then you're hurting your body because you're not able to get in enough calories to combat the amount of exercise you're doing, and you can even become really, really sick from that addiction as well. So I can't believe I forgot that one, but I'm popping that one in here. All right, let's get back to where we were. All things that are unhealthy for us, things that we do not need to be doing. Now, I'm not getting into the marijuana thing. I'm not saying having marijuana for pain control or if you live somewhere that it's legal is a bad thing. I'm not saying, just like I'm not saying alcohol is a bad thing. But we can become addicted, and when we're addicted, it becomes a bad thing. Addiction is when it takes over your life. So all I can think about is marijuana. I'm high almost all of the time, that kind of thing. It takes priority in my life. I'd rather be doing that all by myself, locked in a room, than conversing with people, than living my life. I'm missing work because of it, or I'm getting fired, or I am just doing a poor job. Addiction takes over your life. Addiction is scary. Addiction is real. Cross addiction is sadly very, very common in the weight loss surgery world. Some people don't want to admit that they have a cross addiction, but it's gonna keep getting worse. It's gonna keep creeping up, y'all. So I wanted to talk about this hard subject. I wanted to say that it is real and you are not alone. If you have some sort of cross addiction, you are not alone. If yours hasn't changed and it's still food, and you start eating more and more and more slider foods, you know, that's an unhealthy addiction as well, and you need help. Please seek help, y'all. Counselors are out there and available. There is even online counseling now, and I have heard amazing things about it. So that is somewhere you could start. If you feel like you need extreme help, if you feel like you might need a rehab, seek help. Go see your primary, make that appointment, or go see your therapist. Be real, be honest. Taking that step to say that you need help, be proud of that. Don't be ashamed, be proud, y'all. That is huge. It is so, so huge to take that first step of admitting we need help. So I am here for you. I am cheering you on, encouraging you. My personal addiction, just to be real, is still food addiction. I still want to soothe with food. I am working on it. I am really working hard on that internal dialogue. I definitely can binge on slider foods at this point, being over a year out. I don't do it often, but I do still feed emotions with food sometimes. I have not completely figured it out. I am not here to say I have all the answers because I'm perfect. Please don't get that from me. My heart is only to help. My entire reason that I'm on YouTube is because my love language is helping others. So I hope this helped. I hope if you are suffering that this gives you the nudge to reach out for help, to acknowledge that you need it. That is not a weakness. It is a strength to realize it, acknowledge it, and ask for help. Ask for help, y'all. I am cheering you on, y'all. I really, really am. I answer every single comment, and I will be back with another weight loss surgery edition chat next week. Until then, be blessed, y'all. Please be careful. Please be safe. Please seek help if you need it.